As you guys may have seen, I made a community post a few weeks ago asking what you thought my next video was going to be. The real answer was the iPhone 4 running iOS 7.1.2 in 2024. Now, there was also an option on there called visiting Texas for the first time. We're going to be doing that in this video. However, we're going to add a little twist incorporating into this thing. This is an iPod Touch 5th generation from 2012. We're going to be looking at the iPod Touch 5's capabilities in 2025. For example, a popular use case is, say your AirPods die right before you go on a trip, but you remember you have this that has an actual headphone jack that you can plug headphones into, since in my opinion, the stock Lightning headphones are uncomfortable. In this video, I'm going to actually be flying to Texas with this thing and seeing what can I use it in 2025. Is it any usable in 2025 when the latest iOS is iOS 18? How usable is this on iOS 9? And many users complain of slow speeds on iOS 9. But we'll see for ourselves how usable is the iPod Touch 5th Gen that came out 13 years ago in 2025. Straight off the bat, let's look at the hardware. First off, we have a 1.3 megapixel sensor at the top of the screen, along with a non-Touch ID home button. At the bottom, we have our Lightning port and our headphone jack. On the back, we have our 5 megapixel camera, which can record full HD 1080p, Wi-Fi bands, flashlight, which is the first iPod Touch that includes that, video mic, and then we have this stupid clip thing that only existed on the 5th gen. Straight off the bat, turning the device on, we are greeted with the iOS 9 lock screen. It does not come like this. It actually comes with a dotted background based on what color you have. I changed it to this because, in my opinion, that's ugly and I like the iOS 9 background better. Getting to the home screen, as you can see, things aren't too different than how they are now. Home screen layout's the same, the clock icon is the same. Photos app has been the same since iOS 7, however the camera icon appears different. For a quick comparison, here's the iPod 5 on iOS 9 to an iPod 2 on iOS 4. As you can just see how much of a difference 5 years can make to an iOS. In fact, iOS 18 doesn't look too much different than iOS 9. Next off, let's give Minecraft a go. It is going to be quite slow because we are running on an A5 processor that is underclocked to 800 megahertz. So as you can see, that took quite a while to load. I'm guessing Minecraft probably isn't very playable on this device in the year 2024. So yes, as you can see here, Minecraft is running. It is very slow, not unusably slow, but very slow, and it probably drains your battery a lot too. That is another thing with the iPod Touch. iPod Touch batteries are known for being really bad. This one is in good shape, luckily, but most of them do not last very long. Like my 4th gen lasts like 5 minutes when unplugged. However, unlike Minecraft, Star Wars Angry Birds runs absolutely perfect on this device. I've not encountered any issues of it crashing yet. It runs perfectly with no problems. And this is the latest version of Star Wars Angry Birds, or the last one that was on the App Store before removal in 2020. So, pretty good that this runs at maximum speed. So, with some quick gaming tests out of the way, let's head to Texas. So after takeoff, I decided to see what I could use the iPod Touch for entertainment-wise. The map for some reason did not load likely because they use a 3D element now. Movies would load, but it would throw an error. I'll actually put that error on screen right now. And basically nothing of the entertainment except for the free texting and the flight time remaining was working. I know it says 11 hours in the photo I'm using, but it was about 2.5 hours. But other than this, I didn't really film on board since I was in the very back of the plane. I did have the whole row to myself, and I could have moved to the window seat, but I decided to stay in the aisle. That being said, I did decide to use the iPod Touch to film the takeoff. So here's that footage now. It's going to be in vertical orientation, but just bear with me. So now that I was in Texas, it was time to try a few things. I tried Whataburger for the first time, as you're seeing in this clip. It was okay. Meanwhile, I used the iPod for basically everything. The app for Whataburger would open but crash immediately. But I also did go to their Six Flags while I was down there. Surprisingly, the app version for iOS 9 worked with no issues. But it was soon time for me to fly back. So it has been a week since I filmed that last clip of me leaving Texas. It wasn't mostly just a vlog being there, it was just so I could film myself trying to use this for a week in 2025. I ran it on its final software update, iOS 9. It was a 32 gig model. So, should you use one of these in 2025 if your AirPods die right before a trip or something like that? I would say after my week plus of using this thing, if you had absolutely no other choice but to use this old iPod that you had like in your basement or in your top drawer or something, then it's okay to use in 2025. Technically, this also applies to the iPhone 4S and iPad 2, but I consider this more usable than the iPhone 4S since iOS 9 ran pretty slow on the 4S, but I would consider this to be faster because it did not have to run the baseband at all. In terms of the battery life, this one actually lasts longer than my quote-unquote refurbished iPod Touch 2nd Gen. And how I know that the battery is strong on this thing? Well, the flight down to Texas, Boeing 737 MAX 8, they had power outlets. I used it the entire flight, but the flight home did not. Even though it said it would be the same plane for the flight home, I get on, Boeing 737-800. Older aircraft, no seat back outlets, but the iPod Touch still made it with half battery left. So, shout out to the seller who sold this. I highly recommend them. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.